400 years of affliction. Egypt or America? We got the question. Let's get to them answers. They call me Fillmore, and if you serve the Messiah, I'll call you family. We can all call on God. So to understand the 400 years controversy, first thing you have to do is you have to understand Abraham. That's where this whole 400 years, 430 years, is it Egypt, is it America, is it both, double fulfillment? Abraham was a man called by God. He was promised the land of Canaan, which later became Israel or Israel. Based off of that, Abraham was made that promise. Part of the promise that the Most High God made to Abraham is that his descendants would be afflicted in a land for 400 years. He also mentions 4 generations. Let's check it out. Genesis chapter 15.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
So as you can see, he mentions generations, and he also mentions 400 years. Generations, 400 years. So what's the problem, right? Let's turn to the book of Exodus. This is Exodus chapter 12.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years.
So as you can see, Exodus 12 tells us very clearly, 430 years they sojourned in Egypt, according to the King James Version. So case closed? Not so much. Here's the problem. 430 years, technically that's more than 400. Some people will say, God just said at least 400. Some people will say God is saying, 400 as a round number. He wasn't trying to get it exact. Who knows? Israel, or Jacob, was in Egypt. He went into Egypt to live. The others may have visited Egypt, but Israel went into Egypt to live. The Bible in Genesis chapter 46 describes to us everyone who went into Egypt of his descendants with him. And now we want to understand exactly who went in and see if we can count the 430 years or the 4 generations. Here's Genesis chapter 46.
Genesis chapter 46, verse 8. And these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt, Jacob and his sons. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Phalu, and Hezron and Carmi, and the sons of Simeon, Jemuel and Jamin and Ohad, and Jachin and Zohar, and Shaul the son of a Canaanitish woman. And the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari.
What do you know? You have Levi, Kohath, Amram, and Moses. We know Moses brought the children of Israel out of Egypt and into the wilderness. So that would end the sojourning of the children of Israel in Egypt. So let's think about this. We have 4 generations: Levi, Kohath, Amram, Moses, right? But how many years?
Exodus chapter 6, verse 16. And these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations: Gershon and Kohath and Merari. And the years of the life of Levi were 137 years. And the sons of Gershon, Libni and Shimei, according to their families. And the sons of Kohath, Amram and Izhar and Hebron and Uzziel. And the years of the life of Kohath were 133 years. And the sons of Merari, Mahali and Mushai. These are the families of Levi according to their generations. And Amram took him Jochebed, his father's sister, to wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moses. And the years of the life of Amram were 137 years.
So now let's put their ages together, right? We have Levi, who was alive when going in, according to Genesis chapter 46. Genesis 46 told us that Levi was already born at the time of going in, right? We also know Kohath was already alive and born at the time of going into Egypt. So we know those two were already alive. If we take the age of Kohath, who lived to be 133, and then add on his son, whose name is Amram, who lived to be 137, and add on to Amram's son, Moses, who rescued the children of Israel out of Egypt at the age of 80, and we add all those ages together, it only gives us 350 years, right? And that would assume that there was no overlap in years. That would mean that Kohath was a newborn when going into Egypt. That would also assume that on his dying day, he produced a son whose name was Amram. And in turn, Amram, on his dying day, produced a son named Moses. That's less than likely, but nevertheless, we're going to say, just to excuse any benefit of doubt, that this is the longest possible period that the children of Israel would have been in Egypt. 350 years. So if that's the case, why does the Bible in Exodus 12 tell us 430 years?
The Septuagint, Exodus chapter 12, verse 40. And the sojourning of the children of Israel, while they sojourned in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, was 430 years.
In the Septuagint, which is an ancient version of the scripture, it tells us that the sojourning was in Canaan and in Egypt. Both 430 years altogether. That makes a lot more sense, but that also suggests that the prophecy in Genesis 15 was not fulfilled in regards to the 400 years. That's where the America theory comes from. Let's go back to the Bible and let's see if we can find anything in the Bible that confirms this. Let's talk to my man Paul.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 16. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is the Messiah. And this I say, the covenant that was confirmed of God in the Messiah, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul that it should make the promise of none effect.
Paul is letting us know, Abraham came, 430 years later came the law. The law cannot disannul Abraham. We may have glanced over that, but he's telling us it's 400 years from Abraham to the law. The law was given by Moses. So from Moses to Abraham, 430 years according to Paul. That goes along with what the Septuagint says. However, our reading of Exodus 12 tells us 430 years from the time that the children of Israel went into Egypt, which we already know based off of the genealogy of Levi, Kohath, Amram, and Moses, that can only equal at best 350 years. So that leaves a gaping hole. But it begins to make sense if you say from Abraham all the way to Moses is 430 years. So now back to the original question. 400 years of affliction. Is it Egypt or America? God will let us know soon. I appreciate y'all for watching the video. Please share, like, comment, ask questions. It makes no sense to search YouTube and talk to somebody that you can't ask questions to. For that reason, here's my number. Give me a call, give me a text. I'll be sure to get back to you if I miss it. And also, here's my email. Make sure you ask questions to the people that you learn from. It's all about questioning. We have to make sure we line up with the book. Peace! Appreciate you.